what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. Tough weekend here for the Philadelphia Phillies. Most of these Mondays we've been coming on here, Sean, and talking about either a sweep or two out of three, and I feel like our boys ran into a buzzsaw this weekend down in Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore, could have been I know Friday night's game was great. I watched a good part of Friday night's game. I was getting like World Series preview type vibes. I kind of feel like with this long road trip, not to make excuses for the Phils, but I mean, go into I have Phillies preview on right now. It says the Phillies have crossed 18 time zones since May 23rd. They've flown approximately 12,213 miles during that span.
Absolutely. They're tired.
Yeah, and it's the first time they've been home since June 5th. So I think these guys are just a little beat, and at the law, it's baseball. You know what I mean? 162 games, you're gonna occasionally get your ass beat. So tough weekend. We're gonna get into that. I got my usual crew with me. I got my man Sean right in the middle. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
What's up, man? Sean.
Got my man, Mr. 6 for 6, Diego Bianchi. What's up, dude? How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I know I had a really good weekend. I got my little guy showed up and surprised. He handed me a basketball and he's like, "Dad, you want to go play basketball?" I'm like, "Absolutely, buddy." So it was a great day.
And they go quick, yeah.
So great day, great Father's Day, and like we were saying earlier, the Orioles kind of, Zach Wheeler's been great most of this year, but the Orioles were his daddy yesterday. I mean, four
just like the Red
runs.
Sox were Nola's daddy.
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, like we said before, guys, I think get these losses out now. There's no need to hit the panic button. I'd rather have these losses now than later, unlike with the Arizona Diamondbacks, But, yeah, I mean, they both were brought down to earth, Nola and Wheeler, you know what I mean? And just like you said, Joey, I think that London trip really did them in, and I think Diego brought it up too as well. We went from London to Boston, where the New York Mets, they went back home. So, like you said, long road trip. And that'll take a lot out of you.
Yeah, and on a positive note, I mean, I got the TV on. You got Trey Turner. Trey Turner's coming back today.
Nice bright spot.
So that's a bright spot. Did you guys see the guy they sent down was Rojas? I think that's more of a because he had options. Because if they sent Dahl or Pache down,
options.
They may have lost one of those guys. So I think that's why Rojas went down and I mean, let's keep it real. Rojas he's actually doing what they asked him to do. I mean, if you guys remember, like coming into this year, I think if you said Rojas was going to hit about 230, you probably would have signed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that this outfield absolutely blows. I mean, the guy that's killing him is Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos hitting 204. I mean, that's an issue.
We said that before. He's making so much damn money. It's not funny. I think he went hitless also in the Baltimore series. It's like we said before we got on, Joe, guys of his caliber making that money. And I think even Diego said it, you got to produce. There's no one hit. You got to kind of try to hit for a cycle. His defense is good, but he's not hitting. So his ass needs to sit. And he's the only guy, I think, on the team that has yet to take a nice little rest or sit on the bench. He must have something on Rob Thompson.
Yeah. What's your perspective, Diego? I mean, is this a lot of, is this, I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'd ask you is this just a tired team that maybe is just hitting a little lull, or is there a genuine cause for concern for this outfield?
No, I don't think there's a cause for concern. I mean, I think they got to get Marsh back. Like you said, Rojas is doing what they're asking him to do. Schwarber's probably not bad at DH, so we need Castellanos to hit it. I mean, it's a complete different story if Castellanos starts hitting. Now we have an outfield that can really hit. You know what I'm saying? Or is really producing. So we're one bat away from that outfielder, like that outfield being solidified. Maybe you go out and try to sign an outfielder.
Absolutely.
In the open market. You know what I'm saying? Try to sign an outfielder, sign a relief pitcher, something like that to like solidify this team. But I'm not worried about this team at all. This team is one of the best teams in baseball. We're on a long road trip. Like you said, you have to go to London, 13 different time zones. But now they're back home, getting Trey Turner back. So I actually feel good about the Phils.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
I'm right there with you. You can't hit the panic button. You just got to ride the wave, man. And and go watch something else. You know, you're not that Philly fan, you know. And
with or without that long road trip, you go to Baltimore. You kind of suspect that they take 2 out of 3 in the regular season from you. You know what I mean?
And just like Joey said, it's kind of a preview of probably some good playoff baseball with these teams. You know, you're seeing what both teams are all about, from pitching to hitting. So yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you, the weekend wasn't all lost. I mean, there were two in my eyes. There were 2 very encouraging signs. Number one, Alec Boehm broke out of his slump. Alec Boehm has been kind of slumping for the last 3 weeks to a month.
Yes,
Alec Boehm's gotten hot. So that was key. And I'll tell you the other one. Sir Anthony Dominguez was throwing some. He was throwing some balls on Friday night, and if we could get him going, that could be a major plus in the bullpen.
Just imagine you get all those guys on the ball, like you said, Joe Hoffman, Alvarado, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Strom. I mean, he's the positive one, but all of them and Soto. Hopefully, that's the weak one. But all in all, they're playing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Know what stinks too? How about JT? I think kind of us losing JT because he calls a great game. He knows the batters. For those 6 weeks, it's going to kind of be rough, but I kind of think Stubbs will kind of fill in, but not the role of JT. You know what I'm saying? Do we go out and get a catcher, guys?
No.
Yeah,
I think you play Stubbs and March until you get JT back. You just got to stay afloat with the catcher position. You know.
I totally agree. Yeah, because I was talking to my buddy in work, and he's like, "Nah, roll with what you got." And just like you said, Diego, I'm right there with you. A hitter and a closer. I want Mason Miller or Kyle Tucker, but I'm just that average fan. But I think Dombrowski has something up his sleeve.
Yeah. Well, the kid from Chicago White Sox, the outfielder from Chicago White Sox. I mean, he would be a major athlete.
He is, but
he gets hurt a lot though.
Yeah, he has very bad injuries, and they're major injuries, like that keep him out a long period of time. I don't want that. Even though, like you said, Joe, he has a power bat, but nah, I'll choose Tucker over him.
I'll tell you another guy that's kind of, with the struggles of Castellanos and the struggles of the outfield, this guy's struggles have kind of gone on the radar. But Bryson Stott has really been scuffling. I think he's only hitting 194 for the last 3 weeks to a month, and they really got to get Bryson Stott going. I mean, because
I feel like Stott hasn't been that great all year.
No, I mean he's only hitting in the 230s, bro.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be one of our best hitters. You know what I mean? Like pure hitters.
Yeah.
And I think he's been a letdown this year. He's so good in the field though.
Yeah. His defense, his glove is sweet. Yeah.
So did you guys see that they're working Sosa out a little bit in left field because Sosa's had a good bat? And I'll tell you, with Stott struggling, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe you saw maybe you see Sosa start maybe one time a week in left field. Maybe you see him start against good lefties. Maybe you give Stott a night off versus a tough lefty.
Yeah.
Turner's just coming back, so maybe maybe you kind of ease him back in where maybe he
Yes.
gets a day off a week.
Mhm.
I mean, you could and even Bohm, you might want to give Bohm a day here or there. I mean, you could Sosa has enough versatility that maybe he could still get like 2 to 3 starts a week to keep his back going. You know what I'm saying? Like you could still kind of sprinkle him in and get him some at bats here.
True, so true. And don't forget about I think is he still on the DL? Cody Clemens. That's another positive note. You know what I mean? He was out with back spasms.
Yeah, I think he's still in the. I think he's still a little dinged up, and I mean that's another decision they'd have to make because when he comes out, I think he's out of options, and I'll tell you what, I don't want to lose his bat.
No, I like the bloodline, and I just like the way he plays, man. He's clutch. Remember the two games? I forget. He came up big. 1 home run. I think we talked about it last week or 2 weeks. The home run and the game-winning double. That's what it's all about. And he's just a hell of a player.
Yeah, he had some big hits last year. I mean, I remember one game in particular. I think it was against like the Brewers or something last year, and he got a big hit. It was either the 9th inning or extra innings. He won a game for us. So I don't think you want to lose his bat. I mean, I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to lose Pache either. But Pache and Rojas are they're kind of redundant, those two guys. So I mean, if you gave me the choice between losing a Cody Clemens and a Pache, I think I'd risk losing Pache, to be honest with you.
That is a tough decision.
You know what I mean? Or well, you know what? Actually, no, you don't have to do well. Actually, you could send Dahl back down, and then you might lose Dahl.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
You hit that right on the head. Dahl.
I like to keep Pache because, I mean, he's a nice, fast player to put in off the bench when you need someone to pinch run or something like that.
Mm-mm.
He brings more than like a damn deal. I think he even brings more than Cody Clemens. Yeah, Cody Clemens was playing pretty good, but I think Pache's versatility gives you a little bit more.
Yeah, and Pache was a top prospect. I mean, obviously the blooms come off of that rose. You know what I mean? But if you like you said, I mean, he does have a lot of tools. If you could ever get him to hit a little bit more, you know what I mean, he could really add something. So
yeah, I mean, going to the playoffs, one of them players gets on base, then he can steal second base, like game-changing plays. And I feel like Cody Clemens don't have that. He has a nice bat, but like when you get to the playoffs, you got to go against good pitching. They can take a mediocre bat away. You can't take speed away.
Well, look at it like this. Look at the 2004 ALCS. Remember one of the. I mean, everybody remembers David Ortiz and how big he was and the bloody sock. But obviously the biggest play in that series was Dave Roberts coming in and stealing second base. And the next thing you know, they get a big hit up the middle. They tie the game versus Mariano, and then boom, they pull out game 4. The next thing you know, they pulled out 5, 6, and 7. You know what I mean? And to your point, Diego, I mean, without that stolen base, the Yankees, who knows? The Yankees may hold on, sweep them, and then maybe it's the Yankees winning the World Series, and the curse of the Bambino was never broken.
Right.
So you never know. But I mean, like you said, I mean, the Phillies are in a tough stretch, and even this weekend. I mean, coming home, doesn't really get any easier. I mean, you got the Padres coming to town. They're not a terrible team. You got the Padres coming to town, and then Arizona over the weekend. I mean, Arizona's been struggling, but hey, I mean, they're still, they were in the World Series last year. So we got 6 games coming up here. So I guess I'll ask you guys, you got 3 here, you got off Thursday, and then you got 3 on the weekend. How are the Phillies doing these next 6 games?
You got to go 4-2. You got to answer that tough stretch they just had. You know what I mean? Get back home, get comfortable. Gotta go 4-2, at least.
I agree. What do you think, Sean?
With Diego, 4-2. Bring it.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to go 4-2. I think tonight will kind of be a bounce back. We got our ass kicked yesterday. Sanchez
Got
has
our
been
ass kicked 2 days in a row, really.
right. Well, Saturday's game was pretty. Saturday's game. I mean, I didn't get to see. I was at a party, so I didn't see it. I didn't see it like intently, but I know they were only losing like 3-2 until about the 6th or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was 8. That was 8-2, right?
Well, yeah. Well, Baltimore hit a came in and the guy hit a 3-run homer. You know what I mean? So that score was a little misleading. I mean, yesterday they just teed off all day long. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Saturday was a little misleading because it was relatively close, and then they got a big home run. But yeah, I'm feeling a 4-2. I mean, you got Christopher Sanchez has been great all year. He struggled his last time out in Fenway, so I think he'll pick it up tonight. I think Sanchez will have a good outing, and the guy pitching for San Diego, I forget his name, but he's got like a 4.91. So I think the Phillies should be able to get right a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I expect them to.
Yeah, but so let's hope for that. But in I mean, hey, in the coming weeks, I mean, the trade. That's one thing. I mean, we're only at June 17th. I think the trade deadline's not until like the very end of July.
Still a long time to add some players then.
Right, and the one thing about baseball, I mean, unless you're trading with a team like the White Sox who are totally out of it, or like the A's, like say you have interest in that closer, you know what I mean, and you're like, all right, let's call Oakland up. Like, unless you're dealing with a team like that, a lot of teams are going to wait to sell because with all these wild cards, I mean, these teams have a chance to make a run at the end of the year. So a lot of teams aren't willing to give up in June.
Right.
Or you could do like Marlins did with Luis Ariza, man. Look at them. Diego, man. Guy's hitting what? I think close to 400. Dude's a beast. And now we got to face him. I mean, but just like you said, Joe, it'd be nice to kind of get one of those players when that team's out of it. I think we're in good hands with Dombrowski. I think he's going to pull a couple good trades, So I have faith in him.
Yeah, well, I was reading a couple article. I was reading an article. Jim Bowden, he's a national writer. He was saying the Phillies are looking at outfielders and also relievers. He was saying the Phillies. He said he thinks the Phillies are going to sign a bullpen arm, and then there's an article out there that says the Phillies are interested in left-handed reliever from Florida. His name's Scott, and left-handed reliever.
Yeah.
And if that would be a little intriguing because if you added him, all of a sudden you're going forward with I don't know what you do with Soto. Maybe Soto would stay as a low man, but you would add. I mean, maybe Soto would be part of that move. I'm not really sure because I don't know many teams that have 4 lefties in the pen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But just to go forward with that, you would have Strom who you can use in any leverage situation.
Yes.
You'd have Scott who you could use in any leverage situation. And then you'd have Alvarado, who you could use in any leverage situation. And then all of a sudden, if you had those 3 lefties along with Hoffman, you have Kirkering. Kirk, if you notice, it seems like they're giving Kirkering some more responsibility. They're putting him in high leverage situations. And like we were saying earlier, Sir Anthony Dominguez kind of starting to come on a little bit is huge. I mean, if you could get Dominguez going, you look at the depth of that bullpen. When you get to October, you'd have 6 guys that you could feel pretty reliable with.
Yeah, and the way they use them too, in innings by innings. I mean, they don't overkill them, so. But yeah, I think the odd man out would be Ruiz, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Junior
Ruiz.
Marte. I mean, if you really wanted to get some new arms, right? Or not?
Yeah, well, I mean, those guys will be like the odd men out in the playoffs. I mean, let's be honest. You got to, part of the thing about baseball is it's a marathon. I mean, no matter what, you got to find a way to get through 162 games. You know what I mean? So you don't want to blow these guys' arms out during the year. So like you're still going to use like a Ruiz, and you're still going to use some of these other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got a comment here. Eileen C says, "Hi guys, hi Eileen, how you doing?
Hi.
Thanks for checking us out."
Hey.
I know Eileen's happy because Eileen's a Yankees fan, and not only are they playing great ball, although they did have a hiccup last night at Fenway, but the Yankees got some great news. Garrett Cole's going to make his debut, I believe, on Wednesday.
Okay.
I think on Wednesday night. So that'll be huge for them. And boy, I'll tell you, I mean, that's one thing. You look at that, you look at baseball. I mean, and by the way, any baseball fans out there, I'm going to be, myself and Dave Yarno will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on Out of the Box Network here. We're going to do extra innings show. So we'll be getting into not only Phillies baseball, obviously, but Yankees, O's, the red hot Cleveland Guardians, I still have a hard time saying Cleveland Guardians. I'm sorry, they're always going to be the Indians to me.
Absolutely.
But
Agree.
you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, and what's weird too? You look at the top teams in baseball, and you see the payrolls, and you see like Yankees payroll, Philadelphia Phillies payroll. Even Orioles payroll is more, and then I think the Guardians' total payroll is like $17 million.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And yet they're like top 4 in baseball.
Yeah, you got Steve Kwan, the outfielder who's came back from injury. He's like on a 9-game hit streak, man. He's playing good. You got Jose Ramirez. I mean, Naylor at first, but yeah, a lot of these guys, man, they're hitting the ball and playing well.
Yeah, and in that division too, you got the Kansas City Royals are playing well too. So it's like, you got some teams out there that are they're playing some good baseball. So
that kid Bobby Witt's something special for KC, man. He's a 5-tool player. He's exciting to watch. I watched the Friday night game or something, late night.
Yeah, so we'll be getting into all that tomorrow on Extra Innings. So make sure you check us out. But and like I said, we got a long way to go towards the MLB trade deadline. But there was some other news out there. During the NBA Finals. I don't know if you guys saw, but on the pregame show, Paul George was on the pregame show, and Embiid made an appearance the other night, and a lot of talk about Embiid. Embiid was talking about adding some pieces, and he kind of gave like Paul George a little side eye, and there was it was all over X, like hey, what's this mean? What's this mean? I honestly I don't think it means anything, to be honest with you, but the Sixers are going to make a run at Paul George, and another thing is too, teams can start. There's a new rule in the NBA and the new CBA. Teams can start signing or working out contracts with their own player. It could be as early as tonight if Boston wins. As soon as the finals ends, it goes. It's right to go time. So, Diego? I ask you, I guess, like what's your thoughts on the Embiid, Embiid recruiting Paul George, and also, should we be happy about that? What's your thoughts on PG coming to Philly?
Yeah, I think he's a top target for this team. He's the best fit for the team, in my opinion. Paul George does everything that this team needed last year. You know what I mean? Needed someone to be able to defend Tatum and Brown, players like that. I don't know if I put too much stock on Embiid being there at the game. Like, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. Paul George is only leaving if the money's right. You know what I mean? So I think the Sixers are going to make that money right with Paul George. I think Paul George is coming to Philly. That's just my opinion.
I do too. I do too, and especially based off of what I saw, like on X today, like you had Windhorst was commenting saying that, like, he's a little surprised because it seems like the Clippers don't want to pony up that money. And if you kind of look at it, like what I don't really get it, because the Clippers have like no future first round picks. You got Kawhi Leonard locked in. They probably want to keep Harden. I mean, the Clippers can't even really tank. So like, wouldn't you? And they have a new arena opening up. Like, so I mean, to me, if they don't sign Paul George, like, I don't really know what the Clippers move is. You know what I mean?
Well, they could just be playing a little bit of hardball right now, but then when the push comes to shove, they get Paul George the max. Paul George stays in LA.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I know. I kind of have a fear that, like, basically the Sixers are like that team that has all the money, and all these players go to their agent, like go to the team and go to the agent, and they're basically like, hey, yo, if y'all don't pony up, I'm going to Philly. And then in actuality, the friggin' the teams pony up, and then no one comes here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
John Michael with a comment here. He says, Sixers marketing is going to sell all of us on this Paul George thing. It's another Harden situation, a non-winner joining a team that hasn't won and seems to not be able to.
Boston Celtics, what? They had a bunch of winners on their team before this year. Tatum was a winner. Brown was a winner. You become winners. You know what I mean? Paul George is a non-winner because his team was never a non-winner. His team was never good enough. But Paul George, when basketball is about talent, he's the most talented player on the market. That's why he's the highest sought-after free agent on the market.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see John Michael's point. I mean, and him and I usually agree on a lot of the sports stuff. But the thing with the Paul George thing, like, I'm kind of with you, Diego, as far as like, desperate times call for desperate measures. I mean, the Sixers have all this money to spend. If like, my question would be, if not Paul George, who? Like, I read that OG Anunoby would be the second choice. That's if he
OG Anunoby look like a winner to you on the Knicks. He looks like an other Tobias Harris situation for whoever gives him that kind of money.
Right. Paul George has always kind of scared me a little bit, and the age scares me a little bit. Yeah. But the bottom line is, as far fit wise, if like, I'll put it like this: if you had Paul George on this Sixers team versus the Knicks instead of Tobias Harris, the Sixers win in 6.
And then win 5.
Yeah. Look at the way he plays, the style. Tobias, he's just shit the bed for us. He played when he wanted to. But
I don't see this at all. Paul Spencer says Lakers trading Davis for Levine and DeRozan plus a pick. No. I would be literally shocked if the Lakers did that. John Michael with another comment here. George has been in the league forever. When's he going to become a winner? I mean, I agree. We got to get someone. I get it, but I just don't move the little guy. It just don't move the little guy in the pants.
All right. All right. When should have Paul George been a winner? What year did you look at Paul George's team and go, he's the best? They're the best team in the league. They should win this year.
Wait, if you think about it, let's.
It's different. Like when you call a player like Luka, like I don't know, a player that's been in the league on great teams with being the favorite to win the championship, and they never did. That's a non-winner. You got to be like a championship contender.
He's breaking up.
All right. Well, let's
championship.
Let's Diego's freezing. But to Diego's point, though, I kind of, let's look at it. Like when Paul George was younger, he was the best player on an Indiana team that made Miami break their balls. You know what I mean? Like they took Miami to like 6. They took Miami to like 6-7 games. The Heatles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then George gets hurt. He goes to OKC. Russell Westbrook put up great individual numbers, but they were never going to win. He was never going to win, just him and Russ. Him and Russ were never going to win, right? So then Paul George goes to the Clippers. Now, to be honest with you, I blame the Clippers not winning more on Kawhi Leonard than Paul George. If you guys remember 3 years ago in 2021, Paul George got them to the Western Conference Finals where they lost to Phoenix. Kawhi was like all banged up. Paul George got them there, and can I fault Paul George for losing to a better Phoenix team? I can't. You know what I'm saying? So the
non-winner argument. I don't really pay attention to. I don't think that's a real thing in the NBA. Everything has to be. It's the hardest sport to win a championship in. Everything has to be right. Like, them losses aren't on Paul George more than they are on like Kawhi Leonard. Now Kawhi Leonard's playing and he's giving you 40, and you're not scoring more than 10. Then I get the non-winner argument, because that's not Paul George. Paul George always gives you 20 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, I mean, do I have some concerns like John Michael does about Paul George? Yeah, I
My
do.
concern is injury, but if he stays healthy, then there's not really a concern.
Yeah, exactly. And I do feel like he's the perfect fit. And the other thing, the reason that I think PG is the guy you want is because Paul George only cost you money. If you go out and get a Brandon Ingram, well, I like Brandon Ingram, but the only problem with Brandon Ingram is if you go get a Brandon Ingram, then you got to trade like two or three first round picks for Brandon Ingram. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you get a Brandon Ingram, you got to trade 2 or 3 first round picks plus sign him. If you sign a Paul George, you're only bringing him in with money. That leaves the picks where you can go trade a first round pick for, like I saw some rumors. There's a couple guys with the Wizards that supposedly are available. What's his name? I don't know why the Wizards.
Denny Avdija?
Yeah, Denny Avdija is like a really nice young power forward piece, which, to be honest,
that Spanish kid. Yeah,
for Washington. Now,
I like him. Yeah, I'm shocked.
I can't imagine Washington trading him, because if I'm Washington, I'm like, I'm not trading him. He's good and he's young. But supposedly, you might be able to get him for a couple first-round picks or a first-round pick plus.
I'd do that.
Yeah, so that leaves your assets to go at a guy like that. Or the Wizards have another guy, what's his name, Kismet or Kispert or whatever?
Yeah, the three-point shooter dude.
Yeah, so maybe you make a move. Maybe you can make a move like that. Another thing is too. Say we lose Kelly Oubre. I mean, I'd like to keep Kelly Oubre, but there's going to be a lot of interest in him. Maybe Klay Thompson comes here on an exception deal. You know what I mean? And I kind of think Klay Thompson's close to being done. But I'll tell you what, I take him on maybe a 2-year, 10 million a year, 2 years, 20 mil or something like that, like whatever that exception is. You know what I mean?
I just got something on the phone. He wants a 3-year deal. Speaking of Klay Thompson, since you said that, he wants a 3-year deal.
He might not get that though.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that though.
I know, but that's what he's saying. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Don't you see? I can see Klay Thompson going back to the Warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe when push comes to shove, but I kind of feel like that whole Warriors thing's kind of done. You know what I mean? Like
if you're the Warriors, though, what option do you have? Like, how do the Warriors contend? Because they're kind of done. But then again, they're not done if you add the right pieces around them. I still feel like Curry can give you 30 a game. Draymond can still play great defense. If Klay comes back for cheap on just to shoot, them guys know how to play together well. What can they add to get back in that championship conversation? LeBron?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. When push comes to shove, I just don't see LeBron leaving LA.
Me too.
But LeBron supposedly always wanted to play with. I mean, the two of them. Do they want to maybe play together for a year or two? I mean, you never know.
I feel like a lot of things can change when they go play for Team USA. And all them players are recruiting them each other and shit like that.
They're going to talk. They're going to, yeah, absolutely. That's when they're together. They'll talk their talk and, see where they want to go. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, is that, like, all the NBA stuff's going to happen in the next few weeks. I think the Olympics is like what in a month. You know what I mean? So
next
a lot of this shit might already happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do trades and shit. Like maybe you set up a trade deadline deal or something like that. I think the Olympics would have more to do with next off season. You know what I mean? Like guys are like, hey man, when's your deal up? All right, yo, or yo, try to work your way out. You know what I mean? Like, all right, maybe you could work your way out of a situation. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's still only July. You don't go there. You probably go there like 2 weeks before. So really, they're only like a couple weeks away from that.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I'm just saying though, like NBA free agency and draft though usually moves pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like usually it's like a couple. Usually all the big signings and trades and shit are like, like right away. It's like bing, bang, boom,
Yeah. Draft week for NBA.
Kind of like that dark moment we had 5 years ago where I remember I was out on a Saturday night. I was going out on a Saturday night and I'm checking my phone and you just see like Sixers signed Al Horford. Sixers keep Tobias Harris, and then it goes Sixers trade Jimmy Butler for Josh Richardson and like a pick or whatever. And I'm just like, and my dumb ass at the time was like, well, you know what? Maybe it'll work. Josh Richardson's all right. You know what I mean? And man, what a disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all that happened right away.
Yeah.
So, but what's your Sean? I mean, Sean, like I didn't really get your perspective. Like, what's your thoughts on PG? I mean, is that a move you'd be happy about, or are you kind of lukewarm like John Michael?
I'm kind of like on the fence because, like Diego, the injuries. He's such a talented player, but the injuries are a concern. Now, if he could be healthy,
dude, injuries are part of sports.
I know that. I get that.
He played 72 games. He played 72 games last year out of 82 game series. What are you talking about? Injuries that happened 2-3 years ago? You're still worried about them injuries? Then you got if that's your mentality, then you're always going to worry about the players' injuries.
No, you can't. I play.
Sometimes you got
to play the game. You don't go into a game saying, "Oh, I'm going to get hurt." No,
that's what I'm saying.
Like
so like you can't go into all season where you're trying to build a team around Embiid and go, "Oh, well, he might get hurt," because every player might get hurt. You can go get LeBron James. LeBron James parents for the first time ever.
No, I would like Paul George, but the injuries to me, when they are brought up and when they happen, are a concern. If he could be healthy, hey, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? If that's what we can do and get, yeah, so be it. If it's going to help the better of the team,
So what's your move then?
That's the only thing I can think of. Him, yeah. Because Brandon Ingram, like Joey said, you got to do some trades, and I don't think we're going to do that. So, all in all, let's get George.
All right, now let's look at another scenario. So say Paul George stays with the Clippers.
I say get Paul George.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, so
another scenario. George stays with the Clippers.
Yeah, so say he stays with the Clippers. Well, I was reading that like OG Anunoby might not get a full max. He might get like they're reporting maybe he would get like $35 million a year, right? Well, the Sixers. So like, what if you could get, if you didn't get Paul George, what if you could steal OG from the Knicks and then also sign like a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope?
Good.
But then you make a trade for what's his name, DJ, and play, and then all of a sudden your starting five would be Maxey and Pope with OG, Bede, and then you'd have the kid from the Wizards of Avija or whatever the fuck his name is playing power forward, and then then you bring a Batum back and you sign a couple vet guys off the bench. I mean,
That's not good enough.
I don't think that team beats Boston.
No,
That's not good.
no.
It's,
Boston.
it's you want to compete. It's more like trade for Paul or sign Paul George and find a way to trade for Alex Caruso. Now, if your starting five is Maxey, Caruso, George, I don't care who else with the forward and Embiid, then you got a chance.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the. Although I'll tell you what, that team would be pretty good. That team wouldn't be bad defensively because OG would be very good defensively. You know, maybe he'd only need maybe. I mean, he could get you 15 a night. Yeah, see, I don't know if that's good. Then you would need.
No, we need more than that.
Well, Caldwell Pope could get you like 15 to 20.
I hate. Do you think Caldwell Pope can get you 15, 20?
I think he could get you 15 a night.
I think he looked weak for the Denver Nuggets this year.
I don't love it. That I guess it all boils down to be honest with you, even if you don't love Paul George, I like from what I'm looking at, he looks like he's the best move you can make.
Well, look at it this way. All right, we got a matchup with Boston, right?
Yeah.
So you got Embiid on Porzingis. Boom. You bring Paul George in, Paul George on Tatum. Boom. I think that's a solid matchup. I think that's even, right?
Yeah,
you bring Caruso in. Bring Caruso in. Boom. Find a way to get Caruso. Boom. Caruso matches up with White.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a mismatch with Brown. We're gonna have a mismatch with Maxey.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got no one that could fuck with Brown.
That's where you sign a player that plays good defense. Like that's where you go get a player for that, like a real 3-and-D guy here.
Yeah, that's where even though he's not quite ready, where you try to maybe really develop and coach up a council and not
exactly.
Not for like council. I don't think would be ready to play big time minutes, but maybe next year in that situation you give council like 15-20 minutes a night and you just go, look, dude, we're not running no plays.
Make it hard on Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, make him break his balls. And then crash the boards, make him have to box you out, make Jaylen Brown work.
Give me 6 fouls. Give me 6 fouls against him, play hard defense. You know what I mean?
You know, because, I mean, that was one thing that was, you know, kind of encouraging about this year. Like, I kind of feel like a guy like Council could maybe develop into a maybe like a 7th or 8th type guy in a rotation, you know, in a year or two, you know what I mean? Because he's a really good athlete, like, and he plays hard. So, and if you do sign another max player, you know, you're going to need to develop fucking guys like that.
Yep, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Council was pretty nice with the minutes he had.
Yeah. And like I said, like, I mean, I could be wrong, but even though Oubre really liked it here, you know, he didn't make shit last year, and the Sixers, I think, are only going to be able to give him like that like mid-level exception. I got a real feeling Oubre's somebody's going to pay Oubre. He's probably going to go. I think.
I kind of agree with you.
The Pistons.
Well, yeah. I mean, but we laugh. But if you think about it, the Pistons have tons of cap space, and no one wants to go there. So I mean, so if you're Kelly Oubre, you know, do you stay here on a winning team for like say $8 million, or do you cash out, go to Detroit, and you go make yourself $20 to $25 million because they can pay you so much more money?
You go to Detroit.
You know, I mean, you probably go to Detroit. You know,
and might talk some bullshit walks. Yeah,
exactly. It's about money.
I mean,
but then again, a guy like Oubre could be like, nah, I don't know his mentality, but if he's like, nah, I want to win, I like Philly. He might take a little bit less money to stay in Philly than go to Detroit. That sucks ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just sucks ass to play for, sucks ass to live in Detroit.
Yeah, just the overall aspect of it. Yeah, you're right. Brings you down, even though you're a hell of a player. But you're playing on a losing team. You know.
But then again, if someone offered you 25 mil and the other team can only give you 14, I think I might take my 9 mil and just deal with playing in Detroit, a horrible team.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think we can only give them like 8 to 10.
Oh, okay, I thought it was around 12.
For example, that. Well, maybe it is. Maybe I misread it. If they could give them, well, that makes. I mean, at least we could be a little bit more competitive if we get up to 12. But that's, years ago that's why the Sixers got the reason the Sixers were able to get JJ Redick is because of that. JJ Redick was with the Clippers. I think the Clippers were cool with keeping him, but the Sixers overpaid him. They gave him like $20 million a year.
Yeah.
JJ Redick wasn't worth $20 million a year.
Yeah, he wasn't. But yeah, they overpaid him.
But he came here because he got paid, and it wound up working out for him because the Sixers made it as far as the Clippers did. You know what I mean? So it wound up working out for him, but so he wound up getting paid plus playing on a winning team,
right?
Or winning team as much as the Clippers were. You know what I mean? Because the Clippers, I feel like the Clippers. It's kind of ironic that. Isn't it funny how Paul George has two choices, or well, he has more than two choices. Let's be honest. I mean, Orlando would probably go after Paul George too, but if I'm Paul George, I'd rather go to Philly than Orlando. To me, Orlando's got a nice player. Orlando's got a nice young team. They got that nice young player, but if I'm Paul George, I'm not even considering Orlando.
He's not considering Orlando.
Pinchero.
Yeah, they have that nice young kid. They got a few other kids, a few other guys that are pretty decent on that team. But, I'm not even considering that. I'm like, all right, I'm either going to play with Embiid in the big market of Philly and go east to try to. I mean, if you think about it, it's easier to get to the finals in the East. I mean, I know Boston's a juggernaut. But if you go to the East, I think you got a much better path than the West. I mean, the West is even going to get more loaded. I mean, OKC's only going to get better. Denver's back. You got Dallas. You got fucking the kid in San Antonio's not ready to win yet. But like in a couple years, he's going to be ready to win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, man. So that's. We'll get a lot more into the Sixers next week. Will be a big Sixers week. Because the draft's going to be coming up. I think the draft is next Thursday, I believe. I think it's about, so a lot. We'll get in a lot of Sixers next week. All right, real quick before we get out of here, what's your guys' thoughts on actually what's going on the court? We got Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. Boston's up 3-1. Dallas kicked their ass the other night. It wasn't even close. What are we looking at? Is Boston closing this joint out tonight?
Yeah, it's over tonight.
I like to see an upset, but with Dallas doing like they did Friday night, that's what I'm hoping for. But I see Boston winning. Yeah,
I hate to say it. I kind of do too. I mean, I just I'd love to see Dallas win, and hopefully they do. But I was telling Diego this earlier today. Like, I think Boston's only favored by like 6.5 on FanDuel, and I would be so tempted to lay the 6.5 and put some money on Boston, but dude, I can't. It's against I just can't. It's against my.
It's a crown rule. You're not going to do it. Yeah.
I can't sit there and root for Boston to put up an 18th banner. So I can't even touch the game. I'm just going to hope that Dallas wins and have no action at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's a good prop bet or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm almost wondering maybe. Maybe Luka's over, because I got a feeling Luka's going to show out. I don't think he goes out like a punk. So whatever.
He doesn't have that in him. He's not going out like a chump. He's got that fire. He wants to He wants to go down in a blazing hell. You know what I mean? A shootout. It's not his MO.
I mean, last time Kyrie was down 3-1, he put up 41 alongside LeBron James 41.
Okay.
And they got back in that series against the Warriors 3-2.
Let's bring it. That's what I
You know?
I don't want to see.
We know Kyrie can step up in the situations. Was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, you got to want it. You're right.
John Michael with a comment. He says, I'd love to see Dallas win and make it at least a sweat for Boston, because if they lose tonight, there will be a lot of tight buttholes in Beantown. But, yeah, I think Boston is going to win, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'd love to see all those tight sphincters up in Boston, you know, because all that blood, you know, you think about it, there's going to be so much bluster up there tonight. I mean, you're going to see, you know, you'll see like Donnie, you'll see Dave Portnoy will probably be
Dave Portnoy will be there.
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg, you know what I mean? They'll
all be there.
You know what I'm saying? I got another comment here. Jazz Crew says Boston wins. It's over for Dallas.
Yeah, for sure. Agree.
Yeah, but it really would be. It would be highly entertaining if those fuckers lost, though.
For sure.
Nice kicking the balls and back to Dallas.
Be rooting hard for Dallas tonight.
Yeah. You can only hope, you know. You never know, though. You never know.
So yeah, I mean, let's. I was gonna say, I definitely want to see Dallas extend this. But anyway, I mean, hey, if Boston wins, they are the champ, and I'll tell you somebody that's a champ out there. If you wind up getting hurt on the job, if you slip and fall, if you workers' compensation, personal injury claims, if you get hurt on the job out there, make sure you call my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. When I think of champions of getting you paid, this guy will definitely get you paid. Of course you don't want to get hurt. I mean, if you get hurt, that really blows. But if you do, call my man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and 1 in Pittsburgh, PA. So, make sure you hook him up if you wind up getting hurt. But, yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement that this John ends tonight. I got one more comment. Hang on a second here. Got one more comment here. I got my man Ken Fry. He says, "What's up, fellas?" What's up, Ken? How you doing? And he's got a question we touched on a little earlier. He says, "You guys worried about the Phillies' recent struggles?"
We're not too worried.
Not really worried. Not worried about the recent struggles as far as going 2-4 on a road trip where you traveled all those miles. A little concerned with how bad the outfield is, though. So we all kind of agree that we'd like to add a bat at some point.
I want to know how he feels about Grimace letting the Mets be 5-0 ever since he threw out that first pitch.
Yeah, well, and speaking of the Mets, mommy, Ken hosts a great show called The Bat Cave. I believe it's on I think Wednesday,
Wednesday mornings.
Yeah, Wednesday mornings. So even if you're not a Mets fan, just the baseball knowledge that he provides is really cool. Obviously we all think the Mets blow, but he does a great job. You know what I mean? Baseball is a long season. Yeah, I got you. It definitely is. There's a lot of ebbs and flows, and yeah. Hang on, one more. I got one more comment here. He says, "Grimace, baby."
Yeah.
What? Well, it's funny because the speaking of the Mets, I mean, they kind of buried themselves with a bad start, but I mean, there's a good bet that there's going to be a team that gets that last wild card that's only around 500 or a little below it. So, if you're a Mets fan, your season's not really totally over. I mean, they're not if they can keep playing good ball, they can maybe get back into chasing after that third wild card.
It's good to dream. Good to dream.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, and then one more thing before we get out of here. NHL finals. That looked like a fucking snooze fest. Even the other night was a snooze fest. I mean, shit.
He won.
Edmonton finally won. It wasn't even a game. What did they kicked their ass by what, like
8-1.
5?
8-1.
What was it?
8-1.
Oh, 7 goals. Shit. How are we looking on that series? Does Florida close them out in the next game, or can Edmonton do the unthinkable and at least make them sweat a little bit?
I hope Edmonton. I'm feeling something. I hope Edmonton makes them sweat their couillons off.
It's over next game.
I kind of think it is too. I think Edmonton shot their load the other night. You know, they showed some heart, not getting swept in Canada on the road. Because think about it, how bad would it be to be a hockey fan in Edmonton or even Canada for that matter?
Same situation as the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's that?
Same thing as the Mavericks. Mavericks beat them by what, like 38 the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, no way we're getting swept on our home court. Same as Edmonton. No, we're not getting swept. They win big. They get smoked game 5 and the series.
I think so too. And again, we'll get into a lot more Flyers talk in the next week or so too, because the NHL free agency and drafts coming up too. So it's kind of, there's a little bit of, right now, you got NHL, NBA finals. And of course we got the Phillies. But there's a little lull in sports right now. I mean, I was thinking of talking a little Eagles, but I didn't feel like talking about any of that Jalen Hurts shit. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like getting into that. I mean, I had WIP on today, and like that's all they were talking about on the morning show is like they were talking about like Jalen Hurts comments, and I'm like, I just want to get.
They got nothing else better to talk about.
I'm not ready for Eagles talk just yet. There ain't none going on. They're trying to nitpick shit.
True.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll get into a lot more like that. But so we're all in agreement. Everybody thinks Boston's gonna bitch slap tonight. Well, you know what? Do you guys think Boston covers the 6.5? For anybody out there that does bet?
Yeah, they cover it.
They cover.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they win. I think like in the fourth quarter. Actually, I kind of predict like the last time they won in 2008. I think they kicked the Lakers' ass in Game 6, and like the whole fourth quarter was like a coronation. I'm kind of seeing a similar game to that.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, one can hope. How great would it be if the next time we're doing this show, Boston choked their ass off?
Be a sweet thing, baby. Andrew Toney style, Boston Strangler. Let's go.
Oh, hang on. Hey, Diego, I got a question for you. Pat Bernard said, "What's up, fellas? Hey, Diego, what has happened to Union? They stink.
They suck. They have no talent. The whole team's just not. It's not a good team. They don't spend any money. They're about to lose their best player, Julian Carranza. He's going to like some team fire you. Not saying much about him because he's not that great either, but. I mean, they're not good.
Yeah,
they're not good. They're hard to watch right now. The Euros just started. The European Championship just started. Copa America starts next week. It's hard to watch the Union when there's so much more quality soccer on.
Yeah.
If you're a soccer fan, the MLS is a tough watch, dude. When you compare them to like Premier League and stuff like that, it's a hard watch.
I just seen one of the top soccer players got his nose broke. He has to have surgery.
Who?
I'll tell you in a minute.
But yeah, the Union struggling this year.
Mbappe, the France star.
He broke his nose?
Yep.
Today?
Yep.
Oh shit! He's the reason they scored too.
Mbappe, yeah, broke his nose. Surgery immediately.
Oh,
damn!
He can't play with it. Can't they give him a mask or some shit?
Nah.
Oh, that blows.
You hit the ball with your head too much in soccer.
Putting a croissant
use your
on his
face.
nose. Put a croissant, but that wouldn't help. Or a baguette. But he's like Diego said, he's a emerging star in the league. But yeah, surgery for him. The nose
he's like the best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
That's a shame. He bopped when he should have weaved.
Yeah, Mbappe. Man, Mbappe did it.
Mbappe got Bob, right?
Yeah, that blows.
Mbappe got Bob. Yeah, it sucks because the Union were really good, but it seems like their glory days are going to like the finals and stuff are coming to an end. You know, they're going to be a bottom tier team for a while until they get this kid Kevin Sullivan up, if the kid even plays here.
True.
Yeah. Pat Bernard says no Messi or Suarez. Come on, this should have been a layup. You know what's funny? You know what?
Yeah,
you know
no Messi. I'm going up to MetLife Stadium on not this Thursday, next Thursday to go see Uruguay play against Bolivia. Suarez is going to be playing with Uruguay. He's not even with Miami.
Yeah, you know, it just goes to tell you. It just goes to show, like, no disrespect to the Union. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I mean, I respect the Union. And we had that kid on last year from the Union who was really nice. You know what I mean? And they had a few good years. But it's funny though, like, no disrespect to the Union, but just goes to show you how much I know about soccer. Because Sean, I was telling Diego about this like 2 weeks ago.
Where this is going.
The one day I was going to wear a Union jersey. And then but I didn't. And then I was like, oh, I was like, oh yeah, if I wore the Union jersey, I'd been like, oh yeah, the Union are really good. And then Diego's like, dude, they suck this year. I'm like, oh really? I had no idea, dude.
So
I had no clue because the last time I saw them, they were good.
Yeah, last time we were talking, you were like, yo, man, they're good. Diego's happy to get in the press box. Now his morale's down. He doesn't even he doesn't want to go in the press box. It's a shame, man.
Yeah. Well, if you do, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a shame because like what was it like 2 years ago they were in the playoffs. Now it's like the stands and the press box have like freaking have like the real tags, you know?
Yeah, they're struggling all around. The season ticket holders like they can't even give away their tickets. That's how bad they are.
Yeah, that's wrong. I'm glad I didn't try to buy them Johns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a tough investment. I would have been like I was grabbing my ankles.
Joey would have been selling those bad boys.
Jazz Cruz says there's always next year.
Yeah, there is.
Hey, isn't that's usually a Philly sports? I mean, how many times in our lives have we been saying there's always next year in Philadelphia sports, right?
Yeah.
Let me count. Many.
Yeah. So. But not this year, though. The Philadelphia Phillies are going to get it done this year. We're going to add it back. We're going to get it done.
The Price is Right. The Schwarbaum. Gaffy Bomb, who looks like a giraffe.
Oh, shit. Nick Castellanos just got a hit.
Oh, that's awesome. Because you know what? Deep down inside, I was talking shit. He's
breakout hit.
There you go.
All right, guys, I'm out of here.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Later.
Peace.
Right. We'll see you all next week.
See you guys next week.
Later.
See ya.